This is Cockburn Central. This service terminates here. Change here for Mandurah Line services.
So cool with that new announcement. Change here for Mandurah Line services with the male announcer. Let's check if the Mandurah Line says change for Thornlie-Cockburn Line services. Probably not. It's probably going to take forever to update like Midland Airport lines did, but might as well just check. And here we are, the familiar Cockburn Central with the screen displays they recently put up. What is this? Why does it say an earlier Perth T pattern service departs from in 4 minutes? Like, no! If you take that, you're gonna get to Perth like 20 minutes later. I mean, I know it says T, but still, it doesn't make sense. And also, the announcements at the station say, Perth passengers, your next service departs from platform 3 in 2 minutes. This service stops at all stations to Perth via Thornlie or something like that, or maybe it's via Thornlie before. I'll hear it again, but like, okay, fine, it says via Thornlie, but it's still confusing saying Perth passengers. But then the screen out here says via Cannington. Why are you so inconsistent, Transperth? Like, why does this have to say Cannington? Look, Perth via Murdoch and Perth via Cannington. This is the way they display it now. Why? And if I press on here, to Perth.
The next train to Perth departs from platform 3 in 3 minutes. The train stops all stations, including Perth Stadium.
That just doesn't even say via, but you hear Perth Stadium. So that way you know. Which is also so stupid that you hear Perth Stadium still. Like, it's always going to stop at Perth Stadium.
Trains advises.
We are on Cockburn Central platform 3, just rushed here onto the A series. I'll just give you a shot of it on the platform because I have many anyway. And we are going to Perth via what? Via Thornlie and Cannington on the TCL, which is now the new journey. So we'll film the full journey on an A series on the opening day, which is what is running all day apart from the C series in the morning. So I just checked the announcements on the Mandurah line. It doesn't say anything yet, but that's probably going to be like the Midland Airport lines, which used to not say change for Ellenbrook for like 5 months until they fixed it. So nothing there. But the announcer in here does say change for Mandurah line. And there are the new announcements. Lovely to hear. That's the female version. They do have male versions as well, which I've heard, but unfortunately we get female announcer on this trip. But it's fine. It's going to be A series almost all the time, so we'll get to hear it anyway. So at Cockburn Central, they say on the station announcements, they say that it goes via Thornlie, but on the screen display it says via Cannington, so very inconsistent. Yeah, sorry for the rushed intro, but the Mandurah train just came in, which is so bad because that's exactly what the connection is. If you're coming down the Mandurah line and you stop on the Mandurah direction, the TCL train literally leaves like 20 seconds later, so you have to be at the back door and sprint there to get on. So bad. But yes, A series running in the highway median, freeway median, Mandurah line tracks there, and we can race trains sometimes maybe in peak hour. Although terrible TCL doesn't even have any higher frequencies in peak, so that's not really good for that, but whatever. And I'm not sure yet because it's still Sunday, but by the time I post this video or whatever, you'll probably know if there is A series on the Yanchep Mandurah line still running. But if there's not, then this is now the only place where we regularly see A series here. Okay, approaching the Glen Iris tunnel, going down. Finally, this tunnel is in use. Going through. And the freight tracks are right there. This curve is so cool. Curving around right next to the freight tracks. So if you haven't watched my opening video, make sure to go watch it, because that's obviously going to show a lot more than just this journey. But I just wanted to film the whole thing, but I know that if I put that in the opening video, there's not going to be too much viewership, because it's going to be like way too long. So in that video, I recorded the VIP C-Series train going in the other direction on the line from the stadium, as well as some clips at all the stations. So this section is pretty long. It's about 5 minutes in this direction, 7 in the other, because it has to go really slow at Cockburn Central. It's full speed for the A series, which is crazy that they're going to be running full speed here all the time, so long. This is really going to put stress on the A series, which aren't really meant for this. And Jandakot bus depot is right there, which is so cool that a train now goes directly past Jandakot bus depot, as well as the freight tracks right there, which you can race on all the time. Sorry, I just realized I still have the voice like enhancer on, so it's actually going to sound really weird. I'm going to fix it once we stop at Ranford Road. Apologies for that. Yeah, you can see that display. But honestly, the scenery here is really, really boring. Like, it's just row highway over there and a bush on both sides. It's like nothing interesting. And then there's green hills there. There is a dump there, a waste dump right next to Ranford Road, which is going to be so smelly. I mean, not really, but not really too smelly, but it is right there. And finally slowing down for Ranford Road Station. Now, on stadium event days, the TCL will actually be running express from Carlisle to Perth Stadium and then express to Perth, meaning it'll only be stopping in 6-car platforms and hopefully running in 6-car trains. Maybe B series, maybe A, maybe C. I actually have no idea. They could use any of them. There's the hill of the Ranford Road car park, which is so weird.
This is Ranford Road.
That announcement is so weird as well. This is Ranford Road, like so oddly said.
Doors closing.
Now, Ranford Road is actually a staggered islands platform, which is so weird. Just for about 2 cars of length on each side, they've actually made it staggered. I don't know why. And also there's a 25-kilometer marker for the freight line from Fremantle, I think, and then at Nicholson Road is 21, which means they're exactly 4 kilometers apart.
Next station, Nicholson Road.
Nicholson Road. On there. There was this theory that they were actually provisioning for the Circle line, which might one day connect from High Wycombe to Thornlie and then Ranford Road to Fremantle, which means they would just run in a circle and not actually run to Cockburn, and then to maintain the connection to the Mandurah line, they would just run a 2-car shuttle from that extra bit of the platform at Ranford to Cockburn, but that's obviously not true. That was a theory placed with that. And also, they might build Jandakot Junction, like Jandakot Station on the Kwinana Freeway, when that does eventually happen between Cockburn Central and Murdoch, to allow for interchange directly, as well as a rebuilt Kenwick station to allow for interchange there with the Armadale line, which that is like really the next major Metronet project they could do after Byford is complete, because there's no train projects on the board anymore. And that's definitely an easy connection, especially from High Wycombe, since the freight line already exists there. Which would be so cool to have a line like that, and it would mean way easier access to the airport for people from the southern suburbs, because at the moment, I mean, until now you had to go to Perth. Now you can use this and go to Claisebrook and switch. I don't think that's much faster, but that'd be so cool. Anyway, really noisy in this A series because it is running full speed all the time, so it does get really noisy. There will be some B series running on it as well, but way less. A is the main one for this line because there's not really many other trains available. And on the Cannington shuttle as well, which is running as the Armadale line until the rest of the line opens. From Perth to Cannington, it is running and terminating there. So it's 7-minute frequency or 8-minute frequency, 7878 in between Perth and Cannington, and then it's 15-minute frequency for the rest of the line here. Basically all day, every day, except late at night when it's even less. And arriving at Nicholson Road Station. Now, of course, I have expressed my disappointment many times at the fact that they have named these stations after the roads instead of the suburb, which is both in Canning Vale, but they could have done like Canning Vale West, Canning Vale East, although those would have been 3-word station names, which is kind of weird, although I know they are planning Bennett Springs East as well, so I don't know. But it could have just been a nearby suburb as well. It doesn't have to be the suburb, so like really it's a lot more confusing with these roads. And they did say they were only planning names originally, but now it's the final name, so.
This is Nicholson Road.
This is Nicholson Road. And you can see on there. Nice. It's so weird to have A series running predominantly on the Metronet project. Like that never really happened before. It's just so wrong with the oldest train type. But at least the VIP was still a C. Now on this side of Nicholson Road there's actually a massive car garage, which is what that is. So there's like literally no reason to go to that side from here, and there's also no bridge across there. But to the east, I mean south, sorry. But to the south, of course, it connects properly. Wonder how long we're going to have to wait for the Mandurah Line announcements to be updated at Cockburn Central. Probably just as long as we had to wait for the Midland and Airport lines for Ellenbrook, which will be until the next announcement change, which will be for Byford. When they program those. Oh, no. They already programmed them in. I've already seen Byford Destos. Damn it. Well, then I don't know. When are they going to change it then? Then they'll just have to do it at some point.
Next station, Thornlie.
Next station, Thornlie. Now, what they've done with this is they just cut the old announcements. So instead of saying next station Thornlie where this service terminates, they just cut the end off, that's fine. But then for the one arriving at the station, they cut it off as well. But then now it says this is Thornlie Station, because it used to say this is Thornlie Station. This service terminates here. But now they just cut that off and says this is Thornlie Station, which means it's the only non-terminus station on the whole network now where it actually says the word station when you're stopping, which is so inconsistent and bad as well. And now over here, this footbridge, there used to be a pedestrian maze here. Now they've replaced it with this to avoid even having a maze across here, which is so cool, but it's all caged off. That's the only bridge for pedestrians only across this entire corridor. I definitely want to visit there soon. And the distance between Nicholson Road and Thornlie isn't actually that much. It's only about 2 kilometers, which is, again, quite little for actually a fully new alignment, but that's okay. Thornlie, of course, has been extended to 6-car platforms as well and greatly upgraded with the pedestrian footbridge above, new concourse to get across, which before you could never go across the platforms at Thornlie, so that's pretty cool. There's a plane up there, stopping. But they have removed the crossovers while duplicating the line, because before it was only single-track line, the only section in Perth with single-track line, which means actually that there is no more potential to terminate here ever, since they can't go into the other track. Ready, you'll hear, this is Thornlie Station.
This is Thornlie Station.
Bruh, it sounds so inconsistent. Everywhere it's just the station. Here it says the ward station as well. Now actually here the screen displays were wrong originally. They had the Cockburn Central on this side, which was so wrong, but they fixed it now already on the opening day. And there it is. Screen displays at Thornlie. This is such a weird station now, because it's the only one on this whole project where they haven't fully demolished it,
Doors
and rebuilt it, and it also hasn't been just left as it is, so it's actually half and half. This bit is still old with like this like roof on top, which makes it feel like some sort of barn, like farm barn. It's so weird. But then there's that new concourse as well, of course, for 6-car trains as well. So that's so cool. Finally, after over 20 years, we can connect. Thornlie is no longer a terminus.
next station, Beckenham.
And we're stopping at Beckenham on the Thornlie line as well, which previously almost never happened. They always skipped it to allow for better transfers at Cannington and reduce the level crossing like downtime. So, but now we are stopping in Beckenham. Yeah, so the whole reason Thornlie existed was because that was the original Mandurah line planned alignment, but then the government changed and they made the new decision to go up the Cronulla Freeway, but they had already built the Kenwick Dive Tunnel as well as the Glen Iris Tunnel, so they just made the Thornlie Spur to make use of the Kenwick Dive Tunnel, although they didn't make use of the Glen Iris Tunnel until now, and it's taken 20 years to extend it. But yes, back here in one of my favorite sections, honestly. I mean, it was cooler before because it was single track, but it's still really nice. All this bushy stuff, and there's also the Canning River and the bridge across the Canning River here, which I do enjoy a lot. Slow down a lot as well. And finally we can use the other side of the tunnel, which previously was not used since all of this was single line. Oh wait, we already went across, sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. Down we go into the Kenwick Dive Tunnel and turning towards Beckenham and Cannington. And actually now, of course, since the Armadale line is still closed for the rest of the way, this is actually the main line now, which is so strange because before it never was. Lights on in the tunnel, extremely loud as I remember it. The A-series was always really loud in here, screeching so bad on this turn. It's so bad. It's so cool to finally see these station names again. It just feels so wrong because I haven't seen them for so long, and now it's just next station Beckenham and stuff again. And resurfacing, this is where the Armadale line will obviously connect in the future, which is still closed at the moment. And actually, they've kept this big signal thing up here, which is really nice. And it only has single aspect signals, which is actually what they've done along the entire Thornlie-Cockburn link from the new section here. It's all just single aspect signals, which is so strange. I don't know why. That's like the only part of the network to have that. I guess it's just keeping it consistent with the original Thornlie spur line. So there we go. We connect up to the Armadale tracks, and then it's just a very small section on ground level, and then we already start going up to the brand new elevated sections instead of the staggered platforms which used to be here, and the ground level platform, of course, which was actually only upgraded in 2014, but now they demolished it again. Now you can hear the A-series is actually really loud on the viaduct as well, which is not the best. Yes. As well as like in the distance for residents, it's really loud as well. But here we are on the level crossing removal project stations. We can see there's actually no fence in between as well, which is really nice. Side platform stations, they all look very similar though. We do get a good view out to the hills and the city and everything. But
Doors closing.
anyway. Let's continue. Now, Cannington is obviously also rebuilt, even though it didn't have to because there's no level crossing there, but they did because they needed to modernize it since everything else was modernized. But we do go to ground level for a little bit because of the siding here, and also
Change at Cannington for Armadale line services.
and also for the bridge there. This is so weird. It says change at Cannington for Armadale line services. That's what the old thing used to be, although I think it says all stations Beckenham to Armadale, so they actually have changed it, which there's no point to... Actually, I mean, it's fine because on stadium event days, it's going to be skipping some stations and you will have to change, which there's an Armadale train right there in the siding. But on a normal day, it's completely useless because it just goes all stops. There's literally no difference apart from it being emptier. And also in the future, when it actually opens to Byford, the underline will obviously be at Beckenham as well. So it's going to be so stupid to say it here. Hopefully it doesn't. Back up the hill, and we're already here. So close. Oh, plane right there. Air New Zealand.
Change here for Armadale Line services.
And that it's so weird hearing that. They actually have 16 stand bus interchange here as well, which is crazy big. And that plane is so weird seeing it from behind. Lovely elevated Cannington Island platform station, looks so different and weird. Let's continue on to Queen's Park Station, which is again extremely close. It's literally like 750 meters. Rebuilt, which originally they were saying they're going to move Queen's Park a little bit to compensate for Welshpool closing, but that never happened actually, so I guess they did change the plan before they started construction. There's the bus station down there, the opposite of Alchemist, trains above the buses instead of buses above the trains. The next station, Queen's Park. So cool. Queen's Park, also another basic little one. Basically no buses except the new 222, which was the 201. It's so noisy on the viaduct, so much more noisy than anywhere else. And we finally get this like view of everything from up here, the hills and down there. And we're already slowing down. Next stop is Queen's Park, of course, which they actually haven't made or opened or whatever the entrance to the main shopping center here, which is really bad as well. You can see it looks exactly the same as Beckenham. These stations are really copy-paste except Cannington, but oh well, it's still better than the hut stations we have. And of course Perth's first elevated rail line, which is so crazy to have now. So there's Huntington W yellow color on there instead of the pink.
Doors closing.
And now Queen's Park, the next stop is Oats Street. No more Welshpool in existence, which they had to close because they couldn't really fit it in between the Leach Highway bridge and then the elevation across Welshpool Road. And it had low patronage, but still, it's so bad because they have these closed station spacings here and then a massive gap. And then 2 close ones or 3 close ones again, Big Park to Carlisle or even Burswood as well. I wonder if Welshpool's still in the announcement system, probably not. Elevated sections. Ah, the car markers in the elevation are so weird as well. So noisy still. I wonder how noisy it'll be with the B series tomorrow. We'll check it out as well. Film some on there. Might actually film the other direction journey on that as well. Out of the viaducts, back down to ground level. Here it's only actually that steep at all. The road kind of goes up and then you end up on the ground level. Under the Leach Highway, which is why it even has to go down to ground level. And then just over here was Welshpool Station, which obviously doesn't exist anymore now. Well, not yet, but a little bit further on. Oh yeah, no. Here, yeah, sorry. But that was it, yeah. That's the side of Welshpool. And then you go back up, and here's the viaduct. As soon as you get on, it's Welshpool Road. Level crossing removed. But really, it's not that far from Oat Street. It's just like around the corner, which also Oat Street has been moved slightly onto this side of Oat Street itself instead of just like on the other side of it. Another Cannington shuttle passing. Actually, it goes off the viaduct for a little bit again, and it goes back down, and then it goes back up, which is very weird through here. And you can see all the houses down there, which are like, I've never even seen those houses before, and the city skyline there as well. Which is another pretty much copy-paste, although it's got slightly more facilities, because this one's got escalators and toilets like Cannington, since they're more major stations, unlike the other 3 elevated ones, as well as an 8 stand bus interchange. Half of Cannington, but still, it doesn't even need that much. There's barely any buses here.
Doors closing.
Definitely no more hearing the change at Oat Street for Welshpool and Queen's Park or Carlisle, Victoria Park and Burswood like we used to, because no more skipping patterns, no more C pattern. It's completely useless, especially with the level crossings gone and Welshpool gone. All trains just all stops as usual, except for the Mandurah direct trains and the TCL Stadium Day trains, which is cool to finally have at least some express trains back. And I'll definitely be going in the first Mandurah one. Okay, next up Carlisle, the last elevated station of the LXRP here, which is also pretty close to Oat Street and kind of redundant to be rebuilt, but the city of Victoria Park just campaigned for it, so oh well, whatever. It's just if they had built this as a brand new rail line, this never would have happened, putting stations so close to each other. That is not how it's done anymore. You can see the air traffic control tower at the airport from here. You probably can't, but I can. But yeah, since they were existing stations, they didn't want to remove them from the community, except Welshpool, but like Queen's Park is all so close. Carlisle, this one's super basic as well. I mean, they all look very similar, but this one feels even more basic. Although this is now actually classified as a bus interchange, it's going to get so hard to get used to, like, still so minor. I do not consider this one. But they have put up the bus stands for the 38 and the very low frequency 284. What the hell?
Doors closing.
It only just opened. Directly under the viaduct. So it's really good, easy connection in.
Doors
For the,
closing.
but only for the 38, which has had reduced frequency since the shutdown started. Okay, now this section I actually haven't traveled on at all yet today, this part of the track. Every other bit I did, but this part of the track between Carlisle and Victoria Park in this direction, I have not even traveled on yet, so let's go. This bit is really weird because you go down from the viaduct's level crossing removal style, which is over here across Mint Street, which the station is now right next to Mint Street instead of further back like it was before, but then down under Miller Street at the old level crossing sunken removal. And there's a big curve in between as well.
Next station, Victoria Park.
Ah yes, hearing that again without where this service terminates and entering from this direction after 18 months feels so cool. Let's go down. See, it's so good, especially you'll see if I put it from the Carlisle how good it looks. Down, and it's hard to believe there used to be another station here, Lath Lane, which closed in 2003 as preparation for the Mandurah line coming down here, which then never actually happened. So that was completely useless. They also rebuilt Victoria Park Station opening in 2005, which it used to be a little bit further towards Burswood, so that's why it was really way too close. Like, it's already so close, Carlisle to Vic Park. Imagine another one in between. There it is, Cockburn Desto departing Vic Park. So cool. What was the terminus for so long, I'm so used to. And we're still gonna see tonight, Vic Park train will be back, and 908 is still running on the very last day, TP 2192, which is actually the one that did the last 660 on Thursday. Right there. And Victoria Park, which it's now back to what it was with the shuttle. And now all of a sudden I feel like I've transported back to the days of the shuttle. I mean, there's still gonna be shuttle tonight, but well, after already being on the train for so long, we now still have to do what the entire line was until now. I'm gonna film the whole Vic Park shuttle again, but in this direction. I already filmed tribute to the Vic Park shuttle in the other direction actually, which I should upload soon as well, with the last service on that video as well, so you can watch that to see Vic Park in that direction if you really want to. I mean, I filmed it several times anyway. But of course we see pink signs here now, which looks so weird because I'm so used to the yellow. And there's still yellow on the platform as well, so it's like the Perth to Claisebrook sections in the Midland Line, which still have Midland Line pink or maroon or whatever, except Mainland, which is black now. No more using the middle for the trains. Sad. I mean, tonight, but other than that, nope. Now, there will actually be trains terminating at Victoria Park from that direction on July 13th when they do a big shutdown of all the Eastern Group as well as Perth to Victoria Park and move Fremantle trains to Perth Underground for Perth Station cleaning and whatever other maintenance work, so that'll be cool. We'll hear the terminating announcements again. But yeah, as I said, it's such a long line. It's such a long line, and it's like, seriously, I couldn't believe it was 35 kilometers when I checked how long it is from Perth to Cockburn Central in this direction, while the other bit's what, like 20 and only takes 18 minutes. This takes like 34, 35, so really, really bad.
This is Burswood.
Not even a viable alternative if you miss the Manger line, but that's not the point, as I've said before. It's just to get to Cannington and stuff. And now, after being at all those new stations and the elevation and all that stuff, Victoria Park's still somewhat reasonable, but then you get to this crap, like the only remaining hut station on the unique section of these two lines, which is so bad. This desperately needs an upgrade, especially for Crown Casino. They've also changed that to Cannington
Doors closing.
and Thornlie-Cockburn, and it's just a sticker as well. It probably says Byford underneath, but why? Why? I mean, Cannington, yeah, and for now, but Thornlie-Cockburn, that's not a place. That makes it sound like a place. Does it say that at every other station? I don't think so. And it's still yellow here as well, even though they changed it. They should have made it pink. No. Like, why? That's what the timetable says as well. No, it's just to Cockburn Central, or just say via Thornlie. That's not to Thornlie-Cockburn. And the next stop is Perth Stadium, where, of course, we've been stopping for all this time as well.
Next station, Perth Stadium.
All the way around from Cockburn Central to Perth, we get there by going in this direction. It just feels so wrong now. The above ground Perth station. Another Cannington train there passing. The amount of times I use the Vic Park shuttle, I still feel like this is it right now. Well, yeah, I'll see it on the time, as I said. Perth Stadium, which it still says in the platform announcements, but luckily not in the train announcements, although it's terrible because they just reused the Cockburn one. This train runs from Cockburn Central to Perth, just like on the W pattern.
This is Perth Stadium.
It doesn't even say via Thornlie or anything. Perth Stadium, ready for its direct trains. Cockburn Central up there. Wait, is this pink? Nah, this is always green, isn't it? I can't even see it. Yeah, this is always green.
Doors closing.
Alright, now we will go across the bridge. Lovely section there, which was my favorite part of the Vic Park shuttle since it was so short anyway, there wasn't much to choose from. Over in the stadium. Swan River next to the city.
Next station, Ranford.
Now at Perth, platform 5 is now the train for the Thornlie-Cockburn platform for the Thornlie-Cockburn line, especially because there will be sometimes 6 cars on it, while platform 4 is for the Cannington shuttle, which is very suiting as well. But I think it's even going to probably stay like that after Byford, which is kind of weird that they changed it around. But and platform 6 is also occasionally being used with this weird pattern for that. Just realized I haven't even been in a B series today. So weird. Just 2 C's, including the Yanchep line that I took to Perth, and A's. Lots and lots of A's. Wait, what? No. Alright, and here we connect up with the Midland Airport and Elmbrook lines, which still doesn't have an announcement here. Why? They, like, everywhere else now, there's good change for announcements. Even Cockburn Central and Bayswater, and even Cannington saying change for Armadale. But here it still doesn't say change for Midland Airport and Elmbrook lines, which is actually a very good changing point. Like, I mean, not good, it's terrible with the Rams. In the other direction is good, but I mean, like, it's a very viable one. Who continues here to the city when you can just change right here? Actually, the Midland line's closed all weekend, so that's really weird. They have Bayswater to Midland, no trains running. There's only Airport and Elmbrook trains running, which means actually full B series on that section.
Doors closed.
901 running. There's going to be Bayswater terminating trains at night though for replacing during the lower frequency. Why the hell does that sign, the screen display, the little one, keep changing between yellow and pink color? See, there we go, now it's pink. I don't know why it keeps switching. But yeah, that's cool. We see another color here now, which when you look on the map is just crazy. Before there was only maroon and yellow. Now there's literally 5 lines between Perth and Claisebrook, all in the span of only a few years. We got this now, with all the new ones opening up here. So cool. And back to the old bumpy sections of the track. Next up, McIver. Finally, this side of McIver and Claisebrook actually has high frequencies now, with trains going to far destinations, not just Big Park, while all the other trains to the far destinations are crammed into the other 2 platforms.
This is McIver.
And there's still Midland Line colour for the Perth trains over there, even though that's Ellenbrook, but whatever. Even though it's closed and they're not even running, not even to Bayswater. This is McIver. And I think they've actually got a new announcement for next station Perth, where this service terminates, which previously never existed on any line, I'm pretty sure. So finally, the main station, it didn't say that it terminates. Not even on the Ellenbrook line. It had to play the manual one to say this train terminates at this station. We've got those new signs there. I'll show you right now. Change it.
Next station, Perth, where this service terminates.
There it is. After like decades of not having where this service terminates for the central station of our city, we finally have it.
This is Perth. This service terminates here.
Ah, finally. Didn't hear that ever before. What? It never said this service terminates here at Perth, ever. They finally put it in there.
We have a friend that his wife's living here and they just moved to a house.
The only thing that's missing is changing Claisebrook from Midland Airport and Ellenbrook line, which I can't believe it still doesn't have it. Cannington on platform 4. Well, I guess now you always know which platform you're going to, because it's always Cannington there, Cockburn here. No more guessing. Huh? There is still an ace here. Oh no, that's the Fremantle. Yeah, it's so weird because they're terminating the Fremantle trains here and then going back from McIver siding, and they're still terminating the Ellenbrook and going to Daglish. Like, why? Just through run. It's so stupid. And there's a High Wycombe train on platform 9. And there's a Fremantle train waiting for its departure after it just turned around. I don't know why they're doing that. Like, they always run B series and Fremantle line during the days when they're closing Perth station anyway, so it's not like they don't want to do that. And they're just sending the A series there. But anyway, that's not the point of this. That is it. The entire Thornlie-Cockburn Line journey from Cockburn Central to Perth, with me talking the entire time about so many different observations I've had. And now it's finally open. Finally on the original planned alignment, connecting these 2 lines together. The first proper in the modern network east-west connection between train lines, officially operational and stopping at above ground Perth after coming from Cockburn Central.
This is Perth. This service terminates.
With the pink color, or whatever you want to call it, lilac. Finally, that looks so cool. Never seen that before. Cockburn Central on this platform. So nice. There it is. And the Cannington one's over there. And I'll also show you the main screen display that they have for all the lines, which they've now had to make bigger, which makes it look so weird, but actually more like what I've seen at central stations in other cities, to display all the lines that operate here. They've had to do this. Obviously there's a gap because there's no Midland today, but now this is how they display it, including the Cannington, including the Cockburn Central via Thornlie. Good that it says that. We still don't have a separate space for Fremantle and Claremont though, but whatever. So yeah, I just realized the reason this looks so weird is because it never actually said minutes on it before. It just said the number. Now it says min, like why? Just put minutes at the top. And then also, here it says via Thornlie, even though at Cockburn Central it says via Cannington. So why is it so inconsistent on either end of the line? So bad. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching this video. Enjoy the Thornlie-Cockburn Line and everything else it brings along. And we will continue to enjoy it and continue with Byford opening very soon as well. So much stuff happening. Bye! And this screen as well.